Can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm Krista Schutz-Hampton. I am the neurodivergence specialist at the University of Louisville. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and that's from U of L, the University of Louisville, as well as a master's degree that I obtained from Spalding University. What got me interested in this area of work, it happened pretty early on for me. I was a sophomore in high school, and I decided I wanted to support students who were kind of misunderstood in the neurotypical world. I wanted to kind of support and advocate for students. I've been so fortunate that really my entire work has been with neurodivergent students. I've worked K through 12 as a therapist, primarily in Louisville public schools. And then when we moved to Texas, that's when I had the opportunity to work in higher education. And that was a happy surprise that I was able to kind of use these skills and transfer them into disability services in higher education. And I found there that my work with autistic students, at that point, I was providing accommodations, approving accommodations for students. And I found that we would really need to come up with some creative solutions to barriers sometimes. And I just found myself really kind of being drawn to working with autistic students in particular, just because of the joy that they would bring sometimes into the office, but then also sometimes the problem solving, the creative problem solving that we did put in place in order to ensure that students had full participation in their classes.
Can you please tell us a bit about the university and about the surrounding community?
The University of Louisville was founded in 1798. It's a metropolitan public research university and has an enrollment of about 24,000. I think it's helpful to know, we offer a lot of degrees in 60 different fields for undergraduates, master degree programs in 75 different areas. While University of Louisville is a larger university numbers wise, I was really happily surprised as I was coming on campus to learn how student focused it was, to feel how connected students were to faculty and staff. The faculty are so open to working with students. They want students to learn. They want them to be engaged in the field of their interest. Staff are always kind of collaborating and coming up with ways to better support the students. So it's a big university numbers-wise, but it doesn't feel that way once you're on. There's a lot of opportunities for students to engage in ways that they prefer. So, you can be involved in sports, you can be active playing sports, or you get to watch sports. There's theater and art. There's so many really interesting informational events on campus that you can go to and just listen to brilliant people talk about areas that they're experts in and learn more about how you can contribute positively to the world.
Now, can you tell us more about the support program at Louisville?
So I'd like to provide a little history about this program and this position. U of L created the neurodiversity specialist position in the fall of 2024. And then I was onboarded September of 2024. So we were pretty far into the semester at that point. From my previous work, I had an idea of what I wanted to offer. However, kind of knowing the importance of appreciating the culture of the community that I was entering into, I wanted to get feedback from key stakeholders. So we did a needs assessment with faculty, staff, and students, and then that kind of helped guide some of the other pieces of the program that we put in place. I knew early on that the university was really committed to this being a campus-wide initiative. And so I really tried to focus on supporting students, which is bottom line, the most important, but then understanding that if we can create a culture and a community that is informed and supportive, that benefits everyone. It's the Neurodivergent Support Program. And what we're aiming to do is promote a neuroaffirming campus. We want to empower neurodivergent students to learn and build community and graduate successfully and ideally thrive beyond the university's campus. I do this in a variety of ways. I kind of see it as a framework, so supporting the campus, but I'm going to start with the students because that's why we're all here. Providing one-on-one support to neurodivergent students, primarily autistic students. So one-on-one support will be kind of recurring meetings, focusing on the students, whatever the potential barriers are and what they're succeeding at, celebrating that, but then also just supporting the student and keeping them on track kind of throughout the semester. We're also providing workshops and activities because I want students to have that one-on-one opportunity, but also to be able to be around peers, with other students, to be kind of learning skills that are meaningful to them. So we work on fun as well as skills building workshops and activities. Those will focus on self-advocacy, stress management, executive functioning, career readiness, and again, with the whole goal of kind of building connection. So, as mentioned before, the goals and the philosophy, we use a strengths-based approach. Again, it's to empower and support students during their time at U of L and beyond. Not only do we want students to experience academic fulfillment, but we want to support their growth and kind of engaging on campus and building relationships in ways that are meaningful to them. And so just trying to build those connections on campus so that the student sees where they can contribute and where they can learn outside of the classroom. I love connecting students with other students. That's where it's at. When students meet one another and they make those connections with one another, that's when I see people thriving. That's when I see programs take off, when it's the students that are supporting one another. I also particularly love building leadership skills with students. I'm kind of always looking for that in the students that I cross paths with. And then again, connecting them with those opportunities on campus that might be meaningful to them. I also respect that I might make a suggestion and the student isn't ready or isn't interested, and that's okay too. But I'm kind of always looking for opportunities for students to kind of engage in ways that are meaningful for them.
In what ways do you build bridges with the wider university community?
So, I'm offering trainings, I'm doing workshops, for faculty and staff and student leaders, and then also offering one-on-one consultations to faculty and staff so that if they are feeling like, I don't quite know what to do in this situation, that they feel like they have someone that they can turn to. I mean, really, it's almost like universal design for learning, where we're just developing this neuroaffirming world that welcomes anyone. The students I work with, there's so many have creative ideas and they have so much to contribute. So really acknowledging that and celebrating it is important. And bottom line, for me, I just want students to feel like they belong in whatever way that's meaningful for them.
Who are the students who typically join your program?
So I do want to share that, the students that I work with are commuters and they live on campus. It's a pretty even balance. And students who qualify, again, we prefer that I'm working with autistic students. Preferably, clinical psychology is my background, so getting that full evaluation is really beneficial. However, we understand that there could be barriers, and so it's not required. As far as the application process, there is no formal application process. Students can self-refer, or they can, faculty and staff on campus can refer. I've certainly heard from parents who are very interested in their students working directly with our office. And that it is another way to gain access to the services.
What are some of the services your program provides to students?
And it starts with an initial meeting, which the student will schedule. And from there, we determine a plan. For some students, it is the recurring weekly appointments. And during those meetings, we'll talk about a variety of things. So when I'm working one-on-one with students, we'll cover a variety of topics. While our office, our program doesn't provide academic tutoring specifically, we do have really solid connections with the tutoring programs on campus, and they've been willing to provide one-on-one tutoring for students associated with our office. We just have to reach out to them directly and they'll schedule one-on-one tutoring session. The Writing Center has collaborated with us and will be the staff, the student staff who work at the Writing Center will start receiving training as they're being onboarded in working with neurodivergent students. I would say executive functioning is probably the number one topic for my work with students. The structure of college is just so different from K through 12. Students went from, an 8 to 4, 7:30 to 3:30 schedule, class after class after class. And now they might have 2 classes on Monday, 1 on Tuesday. It's mayhem for the students in many cases. And so just developing some skills, some strategies to develop a routine. How do you create your own structure in a very unstructured world? Is it app-based? Is it paper-based? It's going to be dependent on the student, but much of our work, much of my work is with executive functioning, finding the right app that supports them, note-taking. Oh my goodness, we talk about note-taking a lot. So academic skills. So talking about sometimes there's a gap. Many students I work with, brilliant, didn't need to take notes, didn't need to really study for exams, so didn't develop the skills until they come to college and they're like, oh my goodness, I've got to learn these things. So offering some strategies to the students so they can build those skills to experience that academic success. As far as social skills go, that's very individualized. A lot of times things will come up in our one-on-one meetings, and I'll certainly process that with students. I really try to focus on a lot of social activities being made available to students so that they can kind of get out and learn those soft skills, if you will, in a safe environment with peers who maybe have similar experiences in life, similar interests in life. And so I really try to focus on building some fun, engaging activities so that students can kind of develop the skills in real world experience. There are phenomenal mental health services available on campus. The Counseling Center has partnered with us by hosting workshops. We have these fabulous therapists who love working with neurodivergent students and actually prefer to do so. And so I can connect students directly with those therapists, which really kind of takes some of the stress out of it for students. We've had just a wonderful experience in collaborating with the Counseling Center. And the Counseling Center also offers 24/7 support.
How about career services support for students?
I am so proud of our collaborations with the Career Center. Historically, I had a tough time connecting with career centers, but not the case here at the University of Louisville. They've been phenomenal. And so we have career workshops where we're talking about accommodations, but also creating a resume, what you do during interviews, but really taking into consideration the neurodivergent perspective, a student with disability perspective. We've partnered to provide sensory-friendly spaces and career fairs. I also created, just kind of in my collaboration with the Career Center, created some handouts for, some tips before you go into a career fair, some tips before you go into a job interview that really have that neurodivergent perspective kind of peppered throughout it so that students kind of have a game plan as they're transitioning into the employment.
Do you have any student success stories you would like to share?
So with all of that being said, I am just so particularly proud and happy for so many of the students that I've had the good fortune of working with over basically 2 semesters, realistically. There was a student that I was meeting with one-on-one and really developing those academic skills. And he was to the point that he was ready to really start engaging on campus. And so he wanted to be a part maybe of a student organization that was writing and illustrating comic books. So we dug around, we tried to find if there was a student organization along those lines, reached out to the Writing Center, couldn't find anything. So then I talked with them about, I was like, well, this is an opportunity for you then potentially. And so he thought about it and came back the next week and he said, I want to try it. So we kind of came up with a plan. He made flyers, he put them around campus, and he now has a group that meets regularly, which I just love. We also had, we have a lunch and unwind. That is a sensory-friendly lunch hour where I love to attend it myself. It's such a great group of students. But there were a couple of students there, and I was like, you know what, you've got some leadership skills. I think that maybe you should consider joining the executive board of a student organization. And so, again, students thought about it, they agreed, and now we've got some students from our lunch hour that are now serving on the executive board of student organizations, which I love. And then this semester we had a game event co-sponsored with the Disabled Cards United student organization, and I kind of was helping set things up. And as I was walking away, there were lots of giggles and people just having a great time. And I heard back from some of the students that they had a spectacular time. So these are some of our success stories, some of the things that I appreciate about the campus and the students on this campus. And so it's just been a real pleasure.
Big thanks to Krista and to the University of Louisville. Please subscribe to Inclusive Academia.